One of the most popular lighting techniques you're gonna see in all your favorite movies is throwing a powerful light outside a window and shooting it into a foggy room and letting it ride. It's super simple. It mimics what natural light does already with the sun. So in this video, I'm gonna break down a lighting setup using that technique. So we got a 500 watt light here, which I would say is the most powerful yet affordable light for consumer filmmakers. Disclaimer, Diane sent me this light and I agreed to it because I really wanted a good 500 watt light. Well, I guess the jury's still out on if this is good or not, but we'll talk about it throughout the video. They don't get a single say on what I say about the light, and I'll prove that to you by talking about the negative things first. As you can see, like the whole thing has like fans. It's got like heat sinks, 1, 2, 3 fans. So this thing is mostly fans, which means it's gonna be super loud. And because it's so small and the power supply and the light itself is all in one package, the fan can get decently loud. If you're very audio sensitive, definitely something I would think about. It's the light that's coming in naturally. Camera's at 3200 ISO, 48 shutter, 2.8 aperture. All of this is white and I hate it, so let's fix it. The reason why I am setting up all of this stuff before I've even set up the light or the main camera is because I'm just looking at this room and I can see that like it's all white walls. So we need to minimize that as much as possible. I already know, like I have that bit of knowledge in my head. So there's no point in setting anything else up until I've got like the bare minimum down. Think of it like setting up your location first, and then we'll set up the actual lights. In a normal scenario, you might set some of this stuff up on like a pre-light day or something. We don't have that, so. Any amount of lighting you're doing, if you have tons of these clamps, or these guys here, it's gonna make everything way easier. Cause like right now, I have like 3 max, so hopefully they'll all hold up the frickin' furniture blanket we're about to use. Yeah, I use furniture blankets all the time. Work is negative fill. They're honestly probably the most versatile tool in a filmmaker's toolkit. If I was building a filmmaker's toolkit, I'd give them 5 furniture blankets just automatically. You just gotta have it. Can't do much without it. That's my opinion. Doesn't have to be pretty because no one's gonna see it. But the nice thing is that you set up negative fill like this, you're knocking down a decent amount of the shadows that are already coming in. But I do need probably a little bit more negative fill. So this is a Kupo, the clip stands. Okay, these things are actually insane, but they only sent me 1 of the big ones, which is like crazy because you need 2 to do the clip-on thing. It's okay though. Oh, this is a 40-inch floppy, which is an interesting combo. It's the one that allows you to put in cars and stuff because a lot of cars aren't like 48 inches wide. So now you get almost 80 inches of black material. Stuff is insane. So the way I think about setting this room up is obviously we got white walls, 360 degrees. So anything that is behind the camera is gonna be negative fill. It's gonna be blacked out so we get as little reflections as possible. We obviously can't do that with where our actual scene is taking place. Camera view is gonna be somewhere down here, but we can't do it here because it's like, you know, it's in the scene. But we can do it behind the camera. Now I like to set up the camera, not last, but like definitely not first. Because I think if you set it up first, you're gonna run into something less than ideal. We're gonna look for our framing here. Obviously this is pretty dark. Aperture's wide open. We got the variable ND on there so we can bring up the exposure. This is gonna be a pretty solid frame, like right here. That's probably, because our talent's gonna be right here laying in bed. So I think this is gonna be where we're gonna land. So I always do that. I'll like get the camera out handheld, just kind of bring it around the scene. And you know, I kind of had this in mind already, but I guess I could look over here. The thing I don't like about this with our talent laying right here is that it's kind of an upshot. It's like up the chin, and it's just not gonna be super flattering. This still is as well, but it's a little to the side. And I like the specularness of this wall. Makes the room feel a little less nice. So that's gonna be, I think, the shot we're gonna try and get. Go ahead and bring the tripod in, little Manfrotto guy here. And we're gonna pop the camera right on this. Imagine if it's just the perfect height. Yeah, honestly, this is a little lower than I had the camera, but I like it because we're almost eye level. And if I throw on the grid, like our talent will be in the middle third here. And then we have a little bit of the window here, which I really like, which will motivate kind of our source coming in. Tripod locked in, so I can take the camera off, move in for close-ups. So we're gonna get this shot, and then we're also gonna come in here, get the phone alarm, like here, like that. That's gonna be a cool shot, something like that, or maybe here, that's nice. Or maybe here, something like that. Probably move to like here to get that wake up scene. Person coming up, sitting up right here. It's gonna be me. A lot of people have a lot of different ways to get haze in the room. Me personally, I use this freaking, it's like a Party City haze. Just no regard, no regard. It does not care. I don't care either, but it's got a little remote. Hit the green button and haze. Look at that thing. I'm genuinely surprised at how much haze this thing puts out. It's kind of stupid. Don't use too much haze. I put too much haze in this room. So, something else I don't like about this light is that it doesn't come with a case. So I have to keep it in like this Aperture 60X case, which is fine, but it's just kind of ironic that I'm using an Aperture case for a Zhiyun light. I don't think it would be that much more expensive to use the foam as a case like Aperture does with all of their Amaran lights. Frankly, it just seems like kind of lazy by not including a case for this light, but that's just me. If I don't have power, I like to use these little wheel extension things. I think you can get them at like Costco, definitely on Amazon, but I'll link them below. Now, something else that isn't ideal with the Zhiyun light, you only have the length of cable that comes with the light, which in a lot of cases might be fine, but if you have to take your light and actually like take it up pretty high, you're just gonna have to get a longer IEC. Whereas if the light has like a power supply or whatever, you kind of run into the same issue if it has a power supply. I just feel like the power supply plus that cable plus a regular IEC cable gives you a longer stretch than just the generic IEC that comes with this. But honestly, that's me being nitpicky. So I'm gonna throw it at 100%. And see how this looks. I'll be right back. So this looks okay, but what I want to do is bring the cascade of light down. There we go. So now, because good grief, good morning. Got the light at 100%. It's really lighting up the room, but then we're gonna bring our camera exposure down, which I think will help. But what I don't like is right here, we can kind of see outside that it's not as bright as the light's making it feel. We can bring this over quite a bit. What I like is you can't really tell that outside is actually darker. It's an overcast day. So that's nice there. But the downside that I see, we're losing kind of the effect we were getting over here. So I'm gonna have to just shift the light to be a little bit more sidey. So we're gonna go do that. So bringing the light over a smidge because we want it to be more sidey. Holy, stuff's falling from the roof. Now we've got the little texture of light right here. It comes in on the bed there, but we're still getting that level there. Another qualm that I have with the Zhiyun Mullis B500 is that it doesn't connect to the Cytosync app. And honestly, I think I would have that qualm with any light that's not Aperture or Amaran, but it's because I feel like Aperture and Amaran are like the industry standard lights, mainly Aperture, and those are the majority of the lights you're gonna find on big sets. At least when it comes to LED. You would inevitably be mixing this light in with one of those lights. I think it just gets tough because I'm like, well, I mean, it has an app, which I'm loading up right now. I just used this on a set with some Amaran 300Cs. We would control the Amaran 300Cs on the SideSlink app, and then we would have to like switch apps and then control the Zhiyun with their app. Also, anytime you get off the app, you have to reconnect the light like as if it's a brand new light every single time, which is a bit weird. I mean, the fact that all the controls are on the light means that you basically have to use the app, and the app is okay. Honestly, it's simple, got all the controls you might want, the effects, all that. At least it's not bad, because it could be bad, and it's not bad. But back to the setup. I will say, if we're going to be shooting here, we're probably gonna need a little bit of a lamp here, a practical. Here comes the Blaine West Drop Special. Shout out Blaine, boom. Yep, phone goes there. Now, a fun effect that we could do with this light would be if we lay down like this, you know, we're the talent, obviously. I had it there, and then I just went, oh, that's nice. Right? Because it's like the sun's rising. I don't know. I think that's pretty cool. I'm gonna do that effect. All I'm doing is bringing the brightness down to 2% and then fading it all the way up to 100. That way you don't get the like harsh turn on. Like if I was gonna turn it off and then on, it doesn't really have a smooth turn on. So that's why I'm doing it that way. Yeah, honestly, I don't think there's much more to add here. We've got the Blackmagic 6K shooting on the Blazar 45. The Blazar's opened up wide open at T2. And then ISO is 1250. Aperture, or excuse me, white balance is at 4000. It doesn't really matter because I'm shooting Blackmagic RAW. Obviously 24 frames a second with a 180-degree shutter. Your shutter should be double your frame rate always, and 24 is the most cinematic frame rate to get the realistic motion blur. Wake up because the sun's waking him up. He's sleeping in jeans. Totally normal. Ugh, totally normal that you'd sleep in jeans. Sometimes you just gotta do it for the shot, you know? Okay. So dude's asleep. What time is it? I gotta get out of bed. I gotta get to work. Getting in bed, sleeping with no pillow. That's crazy. I will say a benefit of the Zhiyun light is the app. I know it's not SideSlink, but the fact that I'm gonna be able to do this lighting gag with like, oh, the sun is rising and then it's waking the talent up, that's kind of cool. And honestly, this app is essential, so it's a good thing that it's good, because with there not being any external like control box with this light, you just gotta have an app. So I'm glad the app is good. I don't know if it's still on sale, but at one point this light was on sale for it's kind of weird laying in bed talking to you like this, but at one point this light was on sale for $550, I think. Normally it's $750. And at $550, it puts it in contention with the Nanlite version of this light, which to me, means that this is the one I would automatically go with. Not because they sent it to me, but because I actually like how it doesn't have a control panel or control box, because I can just throw it in a backpack. Yes, it's gonna be large in said backpack, but it'll still be smaller than the Nanlite with the control panel box thing. Enough about that. There are some good aspects of the light, and I'm trying to share them with you in a way that doesn't feel like an ad, because this isn't an ad. I wouldn't make a video about the light if I didn't actually use it, but I literally have used it on every single shoot, or almost every single shoot since I got it. So anyways, all right, dude's asleep. No one sleeps with glasses. Not that that's the thing that's making this unrealistic, but we're asleep. And then the sun, dude, there's just no way to tell if I'm in focus or not. The foot focus, no way. It looks in focus. It looks like I'm in focus, so we're just gonna run it. Ugh. I think at the end of the day, if I could afford a Aperture 600D or 600X, I would probably go with that. But if we're talking budget, 500, 600 watt lights, the Zhiyun, I think, is the way to go. Unless you want a control box and you want it to come with a case, in which case, oh, that was weird. In which case, I would say the Nan light is probably the next best option. And this is all dependent on if the light is still on sale or not. If the Nan light is at $550 and the Zhiyun is at $750, I mean, you're gonna be hard pressed. I'm not gonna spend $200 extra for no case. Like, I just think that's a big thing that they need to add on this light. Like, it needs a case, and it's not expensive to incorporate that into it. Just my opinion, but hopefully this is helpful to you. Hopefully after you're done watching this video, you don't feel like you just got sold this Zhiyun light. Hopefully you have actual real evidence of why you should or shouldn't buy said light. Okay, I'm gonna go lay in the frame because, you know, it's super important to have the talent. The talent's gotta be in the frame. Yeah, super important for me to be here. Okay, all right, thanks for watching.